all your photo, video, and voiceover needs, check out the fine folks at Blueberry Productions. They will take good care of you. If you don't believe me, you can see for yourself. Check out their work at blueberryproductions.tv, the Facebook page, Blueberry Productions, also a Vimeo page, a YouTube page, and it's Blueberry, BLUBERRY, Prod on Twitter. Check them out today. Blueberry Productions, great people, great work, great service.
Hey there, your yard took a real beating this summer. Luckily, Scott's Turf Builder Winter Guard has your back. Just feed your grass with Scott's again this fall when the air is cool and the soil is warm. It's the perfect time to give your lawn a boost. If you do, Winter Guard will give your yard the nourishment it needs to help weak, thin grass recover and support root growth, giving you a greener, more resilient lawn both now and next spring. Guaranteed. Grab a bag of Scott's Turf Builder Winter Guard today. You'll be back to barbecuing in no time. This is a Scott's Yard.
Hey parents, we all try to be extra careful with our children in the car, but then we get an important call or text. Remember, our children are watching. Make every drive a good example. Be in the zone. Turn off your phone. Visit childrenshospital.vanderbilt.org/BITZ to learn more about our teen driver safety program. Brought to you by Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt, the Ford Motor Company Fund, and the Allstate Foundation.
Hello, my name is Travis Williams, President and CEO of Academics and Athletic Consulting, focusing on educating and empowering tomorrow's collegiate athletic leaders. My passion is for the education and genuine concern and care for today's student athlete. It's the centerpiece of my life's work. A college education, both in and out of the classroom, is a truly rewarding benefit. For more information on AAC, you can go to www.academicsandathleticsconsulting.com. Once again, www.academicsandathleticsconsulting.com. Or you can follow me on Facebook at Academics and Athletic Consulting, or Twitter at Coach TWill24, or Instagram Travis L. Williams 24. Or you can call me at 404-542-6079. Once again, AAC is very proud to partner with J.R. McHenry of the Bossman Radio Show, covering sports and entertainment across the country. Please tune in weekly for informative, entertaining, and expert analysis on today's sports and entertainment topics. Thank you.
Back in the Bossman Show with Kurt Helin, ProBasketballTalk.com, the blog, and NBC Sports. Kurt, man, how's life treating you, man?
You know what? It's all good. I've been really lucky. You know, everybody around me's been healthy. We, still working, still getting to cover stuff, and actually getting to, getting to write about basketball. Not quite games yet, but getting closer to writing about actual basketball. It's been fun.
Yes, indeed. Now, Kurt, I'll start off with first of all, the whole campus bubble concept. I know here in Atlanta there was a lot of debate on whether the Hawks should go or not. Personally, I'm glad they didn't go. I didn't want to go personally. but beyond that, I know Lloyd Pearson and Travis Flink wanted to develop the young guys some more. How much thought was given to bringing all the 30 teams to Orlando, and what made them settle on 22 rather than 16?
There was serious thought given to all 30. In fact, up until the end, there were some teams really pushing for that. And look, let's be honest here. The reason is money, right? Like the reason is you can play more regular season games. You can get some of the regional television networks like the one in Atlanta, which, by the way, all these, you move this NBA schedule around, and they're going to do this next year. You're bumping up against Atlanta Braves. You're bumping up against baseball on like 22 networks. But they're look, they gave it serious consideration, and they were trying to find a balance between, look, it's a business, they want to make money, and it just the bigger the bubble, the harder it is to maintain, the harder it is to make this whole thing work, the more expensive it is. And in the end, they went with 22 so that they could play some regular season games. But, look, it's not like Washington has a shot really here, right? Like,
exactly.
They're not catching Brooklyn or Orlando, and Phoenix is there to kind of round it out. Like, there are teams in the West that, when play shut down, thought they had a legitimate shot at the playoffs, but it wasn't Phoenix. So, this is a way for them to make some money and get some things going. I think it was a balance, and honestly, of the options, I'm fine with it. I mean, I personally would have preferred straight to 16 and just go straight to the playoffs, but I get why they're doing this. This ultimately is about money and making and get and this is a way they can. The bubble, for all its flaws, is a way to can hopefully control the virus and keep it out. We'll see how that goes.
And my friend in Memphis, Coach Jenkins, I feel bad for him because if I had to play the 8-9 play-in game, I'd be so ticked off, Curry. It ain't even funny.
Yeah, you know what? And I love that team. First off, I love him as a coach. I love that team. John Moran, I think it's going to be interesting because I don't think outside of people who are really basketball fans, like people, you and I, and there's a lot of people listening who watch, I don't think a lot of casual fans realize how good John Morant is, man. John Morant is all that. Like he's a special player, and I think a lot of people are going to find out about him, in these postseason because this is the first time that a lot of people will be exposed. But yeah, I feel bad for them because who's chasing them now? A fully healthy, New Orleans team that's not only just has Zion Williamson, but I mean Brandon Ingram took a step forward this year. They got Drew Holiday. That is a pretty deep team that we kind of thought might make the playoffs anyway. And then they got Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum and a fully healthy. And I don't think I think people watch the game. That team really needed to get healthy. Without Yusuf Nurkic, they're not the same. Like without that big man who could pass out of the short roll and defend the rim and be the guy they need. They're just not the same. Hassan Whiteside could not do the job. They just got their guy back, and they're good. They're going to be so I'm with you. Memphis, I still like their chances because, they're still going to probably get into the play-in game, and they just got to win 1 or 2. But, man, it just got a lot harder because I don't really want to go up against Damian Lillard in a clutch situation. I remember what he did to Russell Westbrook last year.
Yeah, that's why I feel bad for Taylor. I really do. And my friends in Memphis, and I know they're happy about the team over there in Memphis. They got a great young nucleus over there, and really, I think Kurt that the Memphis rebuild. I hope is something happens with the Hawks as well because struck gold in the draft with John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. and some key veterans around those young players, and I'm hoping that the Hawks can get a little bit older per se and have some of the same veteran leadership around John Collins and Trae Young going forward as well.
I think that those are two teams on the rise. Two teams that, in Atlanta's case, I think they jump up into, there's a few teams I think in the East get a little better next year, but I think they jump up into the playoffs. I like the way they're built. I think Clint Capella is a great get for them in terms of a guy who can really set pick and roll and knows how to play that's something that Trae Young needs. And the other thing is he's a good defender, man. You can protect the rim. I like John Collins. He's not there defensively yet as a young player, and I'm not, we'll see if he gets there. But Clint Capella is much farther along that curve. So I think that they get a lot better. They could, and I think as their young guys, maybe Cam Reddish develops a little bit. Maybe Devon Hunter. Maybe they get the 3-and-D kind of wing guys they need to go around Trae, and it starts to come together, and they can go get some veterans. But I like where that team is headed, and I really do like where Memphis is headed, too. I think John Collins is special. I think that they've got some nice. Brandon Clark ended up being a steal. I didn't think he was going to be. I like Brandon, but I didn't think he was going to be this good, man. I didn't think he was going to be this good. So they're a team I like on the rise, too. And, they got some time. The West is the top of the West is pretty brutal for the next couple of years. They got a few years to build up before they got to deal with those guys, and hopefully those guys will fade a little for them.
Now, Kurt, how do you feel that the guys have come back from a pretty much 4-month layoff, 4.5-month layoff, because March 11th, which is my birthday, is when everything went straight to hell.
Yeah.
So I can't be my birthday ever in life.
So
it's your fault.
Okay.
It's my fault.
Right,
so it's my fault. So guys couldn't get the gyms in their homes like Mike Conley has, or get to run or work out. So I think it's going to be who's able to get in shape the most. I feel like this made this more of a wild card because, you still get back in shape, but really 4 months off and then jump back into it, you really don't know he has had the same chemistry anymore. Do you still gel? And, and guys have gotten older, like LeBron James has gotten older. He has gotten younger these past 4 months. So it could affect those guys come October and late September there.
I think we're going to see some injuries just because the ramp up is so short. They've been down, now they're coming back up, and they're going to be pushed to get ready for play. It's playoff position, tournament pretty quick, right? They get 8 games and they're going to get a couple of scrimmages in there, but they're ramping up for the playoffs. And I think you're going to end up seeing a couple guys. I hate to say this, but I think we're going to see a couple injuries in there. Hopefully nothing serious, but yeah, I'm curious about physically where guys are at, how they come back. Some guys are ready. I'm not worried about LeBron. Skinny Nikola Jokic is out there in Denver now. He's lost weight. Some guys look good, but there's going to be guys who aren't, and it's going to be interesting to see who plays their way. The other part of that is I did an interview a couple months ago with Tim Hardaway Sr., the good one, the guy, the All-NBA player for the Heat, back in the 90s. And his thing was it was mental, right? His thing was to use his words, who's going to get the clutter out of their head? There is a lot going on in the world. There is a lot that are being thrown at these guys. Now they're going to go to Orlando. What team, what players are going to be able to mentally focus on the game? And, which teams are going to be able to have leaders that can get their teams focused? And those teams will have an advantage. And that's a really good question because it's easy. I'm not worried about, for the Clippers. I'm not worried about Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard's a robot. He'll be fine. He's going to go out there and ball, and he'll be great. But is everybody else on that team going to be able to get mentally in the right spot? Or the same with the Lakers or the Bucks or the Celtics or whoever you want to talk about? Are they going to be able to mentally get into the right spot to chase this? Or is this kind of going to get in their heads? It's going to be interesting to see because I think that's one of the wild cards that's just really unpredictable. I don't know. I can take some guess on individual players, but I don't know. How's James Harden going to deal with being in the bubble for 2 months,
Exactly, and I feel like the guys are kind of resenting being in the bubble where they have to be stuck there. They can't leave, kind of there in a prep school almost, where they can't leave the campus or military school. We have all these rules. You can't do this, can't do that, and these are grown men who usually run their own show, do what they want to do. Now they've been told what they can and cannot do. I just don't know how guys are going to react to it as well, Kurt. I feel like that's going to be a big factor too. How, like you said, the mental warfare of the whole situation, how you handle it and accept your conditions and play well in spite of your conditions.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting. And I think you're right. You really get at it right there. It's you're used to having not only just kind of doing what you want, you get to run your life the way you want, but, I want to go out to dinner. I want to go out to the club. I want to go out to do whatever. All that stuff is opening back up, still going. Guys are able to kind of start to do what they want to do, and this is not that, man. Like you said, prep schools. I don't want to, man. 2-3 months in a hotel room. It's a long time, dude. I don't care. I don't care how nice Disney's trying to make that. It's a long time in a hotel room, man.
Man, but you said, and now it's another big question. What happens if an outbreak happens with multiple guys on the team getting COVID-19 or playing on another team? So what's the plan if players test positive and then give it to other players on other teams? Then what happens? Is there going to be a day break, a week break to quarantine these guys and or bring in players off the street to replace those guys?
If multiple players, it gets interesting. One player, a couple of, they're prepared for we'll call it a handful of players to test positive. They've set up if somebody tests positive, they are instantly taken out of the bubble. They've got some housing set up where they can essentially isolate them in some houses near the Disney property, and monitor them. And first off, test and make sure it wasn't a false positive. But on top of it, then those guys spend 10 days, 2 weeks, whatever it takes for them to get a couple negative tests in a row, and then they can go back in. It's one thing if it's one guy, especially if it's, it's the ninth guy on the bench, whatever. If it starts to be stars or it's one team loses 4 rotation players, that's a very different thing, man. That's a very different problem. And I don't know that we've seen the answer on how the league's going to deal with it. What they haven't said what the number is, what the tipping point is, how that gets handled when it's multiple players. So I think that's still one of the things out there. Nobody knows, and it is a concern. The number of Florida opened up early, and the number of cases in Florida in general and in Orange County, which is the county mostly around the Disney property, those are way up as well. So it's just something to watch. Like, the NBA is going to try to create this bubble, but the Disney staff is still coming in and out of that place and everything else, man.
Yeah, that's the part that scares me, because I look at the numbers in Florida, they're rising and daily and rising fast. And, same here in Georgia, that we opened up early as well. And it's like, ooh, okay. I don't think it's going to be a good idea, because, like you said, the Disney staff is still coming in and out of that bubble. It can bring in the virus to the bubble, to the players, and infect the players and cause a super spreader event. So it's just, to me, Kurt, it's going to be a crapshoot at best, man, going forward, in my opinion.
And I get why there are players who don't want to do that. If a player has some, there are players out there with Crohn's disease or whatever who don't, look, if I had that kind of illness, I might not take that risk, right? Or if I have a kid, if I'm a parent, when my kid has that and I'm risking getting it and bringing it home, I am absolutely concerned about that. Like, I might be willing to, financially, I might be willing to take the hit personally, not to take that risk. I mean, it's a personal decision for everybody, right? I think it's kind of the same with Black Lives Matter. I think there's some absolutely players who are invested enough in that they might be willing to take a financial hit. I just don't know how many of them that really is versus how many are kind of like think they can use the platform there. Plus, I mean, if things really went sideways and there was no, if a lot of players didn't want to go, it's not just this season that's in jeopardy. The whole CBA gets ripped up, and then I don't think you want to renegotiate. If you're players, man, you do not want to renegotiate that in the pandemic. So I think you're going to see guys go forward, but there are guys who aren't comfortable, and there are guys who are just simply not enthusiastic about this, but will probably do it for the greater good.
Now, you kind of led me to my next point. What is the NBA going to do about the Black Lives Matter protest and the movement for racial justice? So is there a plan going forward in the bubble for guys to use their platforms to make more people aware of what's going on in the country right now?
That is still being negotiated. What's going to be done, allowed, I'm not even sure what the phrasing is there. It's the Players Union and the NBA are negotiating that right now and bringing in some other players to talk about it. I'm not sure. I think Avery Bradley had a really great point the other day, which is, we've gotten past the point where wearing a T-shirt or even taking a knee during the anthem or any kind of symbolic gesture is enough. Like, what's the action? What are you doing that's going to make a concrete change? What are the owners going to do that makes a concrete change? And I think that's that's an absolutely legitimate position to take and question to ask. And it's the time to use that leverage to get something done. So I'm not sure what that's going to be. They're supposed to be announcing that, they're working on it. So next week or two, I don't know. We'll see when that comes out. But I think that it's a really good point that if you're trying to leverage actual action, you're going to have to do that now, because once the games start, I'm not sure you can leverage it the same way.
I'm with you there, Kurt. I'm with you there, especially when you're getting that bubble, you're stuck there. That's what you can do, so to make your impact now before you get there for sure.
You can do stuff. I mean, you can talk about it and you can use your platform to promote it, but once you're in the bubble, actual physical action becomes harder. And so what can you do? What can you get the league to do to take concrete steps? And that's, I think, again, I don't know what that's going to be, and I know that they're negotiating it, and I'm not just going to take guesses, but I think that pushing for that kind of concrete change is important right now.
Most definitely. Last one I got for this, Kurt, is kind of goes in the offseason right here. What's the word on what the cap will be for the next season? And how it's going to be smooth again, or we're going to artificially inflate it like we did with the Warriors guy Kevin Durant and made everybody go crazy? So what's going to go on with the cap, man?
Yeah. I think that lesson stuck, right? The we're just going to throw it out there, and it's not just Kevin Durant. I mean, you got to remember, not only did people remember Kevin Durant going to the Warriors out of that. Timofey Mozgov got paid that summer.
Yes, he did. And $16 million a year paid. God.
And a whole bunch of other guys who had no business getting paid got paid. I mean, those 2016 contracts are brutal. So I think the lessons were learned by the teams and the players there. Just I will say this. What I know is that it's still being negotiated, that they don't want to do – nobody wants to see the dip that would come if they just played it out, right? If they just we're just going to keep using the formulas we've got, because what you'll get is – remember, it was supposed to be about 115 million, the cap next year. It'd be below 100, close, maybe down to closer to 90. They don't want that kind of dip, because you take a bunch of teams that are not paying a luxury tax right now and suddenly make them luxury tax teams, and they don't want that. And then it would, again, spike right back up within a couple of years when the revenues start to return. So you're going to see some kind of smoothing. Exactly what that's going to – the salary cap's going to dip a little is what we're hearing, but they're going to kind of artificially inflate it now and then smooth it out a little over a couple of years after that, so it doesn't kind of bottom out. It doesn't make kind of a big V and just spike, dip down and spike back up. They're going to try to smooth that out a little bit, so it's it probably goes down a little from the 109, but probably not, or certainly doesn't climb up to the 115. But it's not. They'll smooth it out for a couple of years over that. We'll see. Again, it's being negotiated. We'll see what that number exactly works out to be. But they're trying to find a middle ground, and part of it is that they don't know what the revenues will be next season, because when are we going to get people back in the buildings?
Got that right.
Yeah, I mean, even if you start the games in December, at least I doubt in every market you're going to be able to get people back. So they're just not, and that's still 40% of the league's revenue. So nobody's quite sure what this is going to look like. It's probably going to take a couple of years to get back to quote unquote normal. So we'll see what it looks like, but I expect smoothing this time, and I keep hearing that because I think everybody learned from the last time. They just, nobody really wants to go through that one again.
And Kurt, I don't think that, well, me personally, I'm going to say personal story here. I don't know if I'll be back with the Hawks because, I have asthma. And I'm not interested in being in State Farm Arena with a bunch of people, and I have asthma. So I'll just be honest about that. And I haven't really heard what the media plan is for the bubble either, because, we have to cover the league, but what's the plan for the media now? I haven't heard that plan either for the Hawks going for next year or for the bubble.
I've heard the media plan for the bubble. That's out there if you want to research it. If you want, I don't know if your listeners want to listen to the inside the baseball what the bubble looks like for the media. That's out there if you want to text me, or you just Google it. It's out there.
Yes.
I've known for a while, but it's now public. I don't know though, how they're shrinking it down. Like, because the Hawks aren't in the bubble, I don't know if Atlanta people, I don't know if they're going to let people in from it. Like, they're trying to keep the bubble small, so I'm curious how they're going to handle some of that stuff. And when you get to a team like, I don't know, the Lakers with 6 beat writers, like, really all of them? Like, where are you going to draw the line? Yep. So it's going to be interesting. And then and then next year, who the heck knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
That seems like a life away to me.
Well, it's funny. They asked me, they said, JR, are you coming back next year? I said, the virus would determine that, and my asthma determines that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That's be honest I can be.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of there in some sense. I feel really lucky to still have and be doing a job I love, because I know so many people in this business, and I'm sure you do too. I mean, there's a lot of very good people not getting paid right now and out available on the market. Just phenomenal. In my case, just writers that I wish I had the budget to hire and bring in, because there's some great people out there that,
well, I'm
the media companies are getting hit too. Everybody's getting hit. Teams getting hit. Media companies getting hit. Everybody's getting hit.
I'm going to tell you this, Kurt. You and Dan do a great job at Pro Basketball Talk. Some listeners, I'll tell them to check you guys' blog out, because you want NBA news every day, the truth. You go there, it's unbiased. And you all just tell it like it is. That's why I tell our listeners to go check you guys out. I'm glad to have you on the show again. I'm glad that your family's safe, Kurt, and I hope to see you down the road, man. We get this world back as normal again. We can go back and travel and cover games and finals again, see everybody at the All-Star weekend like we did in Chicago this year.
I look forward so much to that, man. I can't wait to get back. And next time I see you at one of those places, I will take you to I will take you and buy you a beer, my friend.
Thank you so much, Kurt. I would love a Corona, man. I love Corona beer, but not the virus.
I hear you.
Dude, hey, man. Thank you as always, Kurt, man. Have a great day, buddy, and be safe, man.
You too. Take care.
All right, it's Kurt Helin on the Bossman Show.
Hip-hop fans, I got a great album for you. The debut album from Family Grind ENT, True Speech and 313 Fresh. We're going to give you 2 discs, 33 songs of pure, genuine hip-hop. Albums available on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, illstreetrex.com, and streaming live right now on Rhapsody, Beats Music, Spotify, Xbox Music, Slacker Radio, and SoundCloud. Check them out today. True Speech and 313 Fresh. Family Grind ENT. Believe in it. Get it.
A gorgeous tan from Suntan City gives you an inner glow that relights the fire when you run into your first crush.
Vicky, who was that?
An old boyfriend.
Lucky you just tanned at Suntan City.
Lucky he's single. We're doing lunch tomorrow.
Won't be single for long then.
During Tour of the City, try all 5 tans, including spray tan, for just $4.99. Restrictions may apply. Click to buy now.
When you're a teen, you finally get to make some of your own decisions. Who are you going to hang out with? What do you want to be? Are you going to glance at that text while driving? Remember, a split second is all it takes for something tragic to happen. Be in the zone. Turn off your phone. Visit childrenshospital.vanderbilt.org/BITZ to learn more about our teen driver safety program. Brought to you by the Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt, the Ford Motor Company Fund, and the Allstate Foundation.
It's maybe the night that my dreams might let me know. All the stars are closer. All the stars are closer.
Tell me what you gonna do to me. Confrontation ain't nothing new to me. You could bring a bullet, bring a sword, bring a morgue, but you can't bring the truth to me.
Alexa, play Kendrick Lamar and SZA.
Okay. Maybe the night that my dreams might let me know. All the stars are closer.
With Amazon Music, a voice is all you need. Get tens of millions of songs. Download the Amazon Music app today.
Yeah, it's your man JC, the host with the most, baby, and it goes down each and every Saturday night right here in the city of Memphis. That's right, y'all. It goes down at Clicks Sports Bar Memphis, baby. 3705 Malco Way, Memphis, Tennessee, 38125. Come out and join us, the Three Kings, each and every Saturday night for the livest karaoke in the city. Everybody gets in free till 10 p.m. Only $5 after. Great food. We got drink specials. We got all kind of games, man. We got the pool tables popping. Whatever you want, we got you, man. Come on out. Have a good time with us each and every Saturday night. That's Clicks Sports Bar, Memphis.